what is a ketogenic diet, right? Well, that's a really good question, okay? Well, the definition of that basically is really, it's any diet that gets you into ketosis, right? Which leads us to the question of, what is ketosis? Well, ketosis is a metabolic state where your body prefers or primarily utilizes the fuel sources of fat and ketones, okay? So it is a metabolic state where your body preferentially utilizes fat and ketones as its primary energy source. Now, when you're not in ketosis, your primary energy source that you're utilizing is actually, it's glucose, right? Fuels your brain function, fuels all your movements, but actually your brain, when you're full ketosis, could be utilizing 70% ketones as its main fuel source, right? Well, that leads us to another question, right? What are ketones, okay? Well, if you think about it for a second, we have 3 macronutrients. We have carbohydrates, right? Think about blood sugar, breads, carbs, all that stuff, right? We have fats. Everyone knows what fats are. And we have protein. Out of those, the 2 energy sources are fats and actual carbohydrates. So those are the 3 what we call macronutrients. Now, a lot of scientists are calling ketones the 4th macronutrient, okay? And ketones, in essence, or the main ketone that we like to think about is known as beta-hydroxy butyrate, okay? So basically, in essence, or BHB, beta-hydroxybutyrate, BHB is the main ketone that's circulating around in our blood. It's what we mainly use as fuel, okay? And basically, it's a highly efficient energy source. In fact, if you think about it, when I basically combust or burn fuel like carbohydrates, okay, you produce energy. And actually produce 30% more energy from ketones than I do carbohydrates. So it's a super, super efficient fuel source. And in fact, when I eat carbs or I eat ketones, my brain prefers the ketones over the carbohydrates, right? So it's a really unique metabolic state. And what you have to understand is that this metabolic state can be created by a lot of things, right? So what's a ketogenic diet? Well, technically, if I literally eat, 2 pieces of broccoli and don't eat anything else for the entire day, right? My body goes into a starvation mode, burns off carbohydrates, and I'm preferentially using fat and ketones as fuel, okay? In fact, the original studies looking at utilization of ketones were purely fasting. They took medical students and fasted them for over a month, right? That study would not even be approved today, right? But back several decades ago, it could get approved. So basically, it's any diet that puts you in a state of ketosis. Now, obviously, that's a ketogenic diet, right? If I had 6 pieces of broccoli a day or 2 pieces of broccoli a day, is that keto? Absolutely. Am I going to gain muscle on 3 to 6 pieces of broccoli a day? No, I'll lose muscle at an accelerated rate, okay? So what is this? Why am I going into ketosis when I'm in starvation? The reason for that is you have to think about something, right? Basically, now if I'm hungry, cool. I'm in Florida, I'll go to Publix, right? Okay, I can go to a fast food joint. Not recommending that, but I'm readily access to food. But before, if I didn't have all this agriculture and I was farming or hunting for food, if there's a shortage of food, I needed to be alert to go hunt or grow food. And so you produce this fuel called ketones that made me alert. So realize it is a fuel source basically that in essence makes me alert, okay, actually spares muscle from being broken down. Studies show that, and gets me in this zone, okay, where I'm more efficient. My brain operates at a whole nother level. That's what ketosis is. So the original studies on ketogenic dieting were actually performed for people who had epilepsy. And people who had epilepsy, to prevent basically seizures, they had them on a formula that was 90% fat, and only like maybe 2% carbohydrate and 8% protein, okay? So they stopped having seizures, okay? And if you look, there's a great organization called the Charlie Foundation. There's a great movie on this, basically. But basically, that's a therapeutic, medical grade type of ketogenic diet. The problem, what they've noticed on diets like this, is that you lose muscle at a very high rate. Yes, ketones spare muscle, But if protein's that low, you're going to lose muscle. You have protein malnutrition. Your hair's not going to be as good. Your skin's not going to be as good. Your nails aren't going to be as good. And last I checked, bodybuilding is an aesthetic sport. Your skin's just as important as your muscles, okay? So, a researcher actually by the name of Finney kind of looked at, well, what is more ideal? How much protein do you actually need to build muscle, okay? And basically, what you're looking at is for more of a bodybuilder, you're going to need probably anywhere from, I would say anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight on a ketogenic diet to really maximize muscle gain, okay? Now, if you look actually overall within a diet, if you're going to go percentage-wise, which is difficult to do purely percentages, your percentage in your diet is going to be probably on average of anywhere from 20 to 30% of your diet is going to be from protein, okay? Then you're going to have 60 to 70% fat and probably only 5% carbohydrate, okay? So again, anywhere from 20 to 30% protein, no more than 40% protein, okay? And then you're basically going to have 60 to 70% fat, and then you're going to have about 5% carbs, no more than 10, okay? So what's a well-formulated ketogenic diet? Remember, I told you the ratios that you're going to have. Secondly, those carbohydrates are going to come from fibrous sources of carbohydrates, like salads. It could be leafy green vegetables. It could be broccoli, okay? That's where your carbohydrate source is, because you need a lot of bulkier carbs to keep you full. And that's it. So again, what is a ketogenic diet? Anything that gets you into ketosis. Originally, basically, you're looking at diets therapeutically that were 90% fat. That's not going to make you grow. You need to have at least 20 to 30% protein in your diet, no more than 40. I'll talk about that in another video. And then your carbohydrates are going to come from fibrous sources like leafy green vegetables. That you can grow on. I'll talk about that later. Talk to you soon.